Ferdinand Reese. Have you ever talked about militant veganism online? Have you heard of the documentary What the Health on Netflix? I ask because at one point I was converted to veganism because vegan doctors such as Michael Greger, John McDougall, and Colin Campbell were preaching online the dangers of meat consumption and made many promises of weight loss and improved health by cutting out all animal products. I posted my story on Abby Sharp's video on What the Health, but just to give an overview, I adopted a healthy vegan diet and within 2 months, my digestive health deteriorated. I lost muscle mass and I nearly passed out at the grocery store. My doctor told me that everyone is different and that while some people do well without animal protein, others cannot. I eventually regained my health after introducing meat back into my diet, but the recovery was very slow. I started watching your videos, which have helped me think critically about diet and health in general. I hadn't posted much in public about my brush with veganism until What the Health came out. And it angered me that the filmmakers were using graphic and grotesque imagery to illustrate their claims about the supposed dangers of meat consumption. Moreover, they claim that doctors profit from the ill health of a public that consumes meat. I suppose my question to you is, would the actions of the filmmakers and plant-based doctors amount to coercive persuasion and thought reform, in your opinion? Furthermore, what advice will you give to anyone who is thinking of radically changing their diet? All right, militant online veganism. Woo! Okay, so yeah, sure. Of course, there's cultic aspects to this. As there are in any social movement or group, you will find people on the extreme ends who are pushing must do this, must comply, must, follow all the rules that we are telling you because we know what's best. Well, when it comes to diet, I don't trust anybody anymore because in my lifetime, milk has gone from good to bad to good. Sugar has gone from bad to maybe not so bad to really horribly bad to great for you to bad. And meat has gone from, American meat and potatoes, burgers and, dogs, to how dare you eat meat, raw meat diet. I mean, we even had that in the Sea Org for a while, and I'm sure that was all around in the world as all the rage. I think that was in the 90s. To don't you dare eat any meat at all. How could you? You are the most immoral scumbag of the universe, and I cannot even believe that I am talking to you because you are such a scumbag for killing all those animals. Well, okay. We are at the top of the food chain for a reason, and we eat meat. And I, for one, am a complete meatosaurus, and I'm not even pretending to be unbiased on this particular question. I believe that the human diet has successfully survived with meat for thousands of years, and any Johnny-come-lately who comes along now and tells you that human beings don't need meat, shouldn't have eaten meat all these centuries, etc., is like, come on, dude. You just give it up. If you want to push a moral position, make it a moral argument. Don't pretend that it's a health issue or a diet issue, because it's not. Like your doctor said, every single person is different, and they must deal with those differences on their own. They have to find out for themselves what's best for them. There is no ideal body. There is no stereotypical ideal image for a human being. We come in all shapes, all sizes, all colors. And these stereotype images that we hold up and put on dioceses and say that this is what we must worship, whether it's fat or thin, tall or short, black or white or red or yellow or blue or green or whatever, these are just ideas people have. There's no truth. There's no objective, ultimate truth to any of these ideas. They're just social realities we come up with, and we see if we can get other people to agree with us, and if they do, then we're sure we're right. And that's how we think, and that's how this stuff works, and it's pretty ridiculous. And I say all of this because I've dived into the science on this stuff, and I'm not putting myself out there as some dietary expert, just the opposite. I think there are very few dietary experts out there, very few and far between. But there are thousands and thousands of people out there who will try to convince you that they know everything there is to know about a diet because they read some articles on the internet, or even went to school for a couple years and learned some things that some teachers pushed down their throats. Great. Maybe some of that's true, maybe some of it's not. But given the fact that, like I said, in my lifetime, I have watched dietary restrictions, dietary guidelines, FDA requirements, dietary recommendations coming out of the White House change over and over and over again. And what that tells me is that there is very little settled science on what an ideal human diet is. There have been 1,000 attempts at trying to find out. But the problem is that because we're all different, there is no one standard ideal diet for all of us that is universally workable. There isn't. And that's, it's a tough call. It's a bummer. I wish it were different. It would be nice if there was some ideal diet we could all glom onto, but there isn't. So there is no right and wrong about this, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to, tell everybody how wrong you all are. I'm trying to tell you that for you, you might be 100% right. You're 100% on course. Your vegan diet is exactly what you need. But quit pretending that's what everybody else needs, because it's not. Any more than me telling you as a vegan, you should eat meat. I don't know you. I don't know anything about your body. So how am I going to sit here and tell you what you should or shouldn't eat or consume, right? For your dietary needs, for your nutritional needs. I can't tell you anything about that. You got to find out for yourself. And that takes experimentation, that takes trying, that takes consultation with not just one doctor. You should find out all kinds of things. If this is really something of concern to you. There's a lot to know, a lot to learn about bodies. There is not one doctor anywhere in this world that has it all figured out. There's no nutritionist that has it all figured out. Anywhere. You see a lot of biases, a lot of opinions flying around, very little actual science. And I don't mean big words. There's tons of big words and chemical words and Latin words and all kinds of words you can throw around without having a scientifically credible idea in the middle of any of it. So this is the sort of thing that actually does take some work on all of our parts to figure out. Or not. We just kind of go on cruise control and we eat our McDonald's and we go to Denny's and we go to Applebee's and we go to here and we go to there and we try to do the best we can. And, whatever. And we have to experiment with it a little bit and figure it out. And maybe we're going to be willing to do that and maybe we're not. But I'm going to tell you that from my point of view, as all the research I've done on this, anyone telling me what I have to eat or not eat based on their morality or their idea of what is a healthy diet, I take that along with their opinions about the weather. It means about that much to me. So that's my take on that, and I am sure I'm going to hear about all kinds of disagreements on it in the comments, and that's totally fine. That kind of proves my point. We've all found different solutions and ideas and dietary guidelines and restrictions for ourselves. The mistake we make is thinking that because we found that for ourselves, we now need to project that onto everybody else. We really don't. And all of the heated, really passionate name calling and all that stuff that can ensue as a result of this just tells me how when that happens on the part of anybody on any level of any position, okay, now I know I got somebody who's a little unhinged on my hands, right? They've gone a bit too deep into this. And you lose the perspective. And when you lose that, you kind of lost everything. So that's why I preach, maybe back off and just kind of let everybody kind of do their thing. Okay, so there you go.